Okay, so I want to tell a little story about this girl I used to know named Ava. Ava Miller. Ava was a girl I met. Where else legally? Long Island Gay and Lesbian Youth. If you've heard some of my other stories, I used to like to go to gay bars and clubs to pick up chicks because there's a surprising amount. And I end up getting one more in Ava. We met in August 2004. It's like early mid August. And we meet it legally and we just hit it off. And we just talk and talk and talk. And then after we met it legally, we exchanged like phone numbers and screen names. And we continue to talk over the next few days, next week or so. And then we start talking about how we're both virgins. Yes, I was still a virgin at 20, much to my to my bitter disappointment, of course, because like most kids, at least most boys, by the time you hit like 11 or 12, you're already planning on losing your virginity. Little did I know I had like another 8 years to go. You think everyone else is doing it. No, they're not. People are not having sex at 12 and 13. Rarely. Average guy loses his virginity at 17. So I was a few years late to the party. And Ava happened to be 15. Yes, she was underage, so fucking sue me. She was 15, month away from turning 16. And we start talking about meeting up and fucking and losing our virginity together. And she was pretty overweight. I'm not gonna lie. This girl was like 250 pounds. She remains the heaviest girl I've ever been with. Yeah, but I didn't care. For a fat chick, she was pretty attractive. And beggars can't be choosers. And I kind of liked her too. So, this one night, after like, what did I say, a week, we make plans to go on a date to the movies. So we go to this movie. It was Spider-Man 2. And of course, I still can't tell you anything that happened in that movie. Because, we're doing the usual, like making out. I'm rubbing on her tits. She's like touching my dick. Whatever. And then like, I don't even know, maybe 20 minutes into the movie, I don't even know why we went. She's like, yeah, maybe we could like finish this in your car. And I'm like, okay, sure. So we get in the car, leave the movies, and I start looking for a place for us to go. Now, I could have parked on any neighborhood street. Her neighborhood was pretty quiet. Like, really, really quiet. But I'm like, nah, let's go to Dix Hills Park. Because there was this spot in Dix Hills Park all the way in the back where you could pull your car down this hill and into the woods. Nobody would ever go in there, especially at night. It's like 10:30, 11 p.m. at this point. It's like, okay. So I pull in there and we fool around. Like I fingered her, I ate her out. She gave me a blowjob. We didn't fuck that night. But yeah, we had a little fun. And then it comes time to leave. And I go to drive out of Dix Hills Park. And to our horror, the fucking gate is closed. Like, god damn it. I forgot the very simple concept that parks close. And if that park has a gate, it's probably closed and locked. God damn it. What the fuck am I going to do now? Oh, man. So, we can't think of anything else to do but to call Ava's father, right? Like, I need a ride home. I'm not going to be able to get my car until tomorrow morning. I probably should have called my mom. But Ava's like, I'll call my dad. I live like a few blocks away from here, whatever. He'll come down. I'm like, oh no. Like, you're already under a microscope. When you're 20 and you're dating like a 15, 16-year-old girl, parents are already looking at you with that evil eye. Like you're going to corrupt their beautiful, precious daughter. And I'm off to a great start now. Because his car pulls up. His name was Richard, right? Richard Miller is his patent attorney. And he's like, "What the fuck? Are you kidding me? You're locked in here." Now, for two normal people, all you'd have to do is just hop the fence, and that would be it for the moment. Go home, come back, get the car later. Now, when you're 250 pounds, have zero athletic ability, and are wearing a skirt and heels on top of it, yeah, she's wearing a skirt and stilettos. Easier said than done. And I hopped the fence real quick. Easy for me. And then now we got to get Ava to do it. And she's scared to even climb up there. And we're like, come on, Ava. Come on, you could do it. It took like at least 5 minutes just to get her to climb up on the fence. And then another few minutes to get her to come down. And this fucking girl is like up on top of this fence to Dix Hills Park, just like huddled on top of the fence, like she's scared for her life or something. Like she's too scared to make like a fucking 4-foot jump. And like, come on, girl, you can do it. And at this point, like her back is to Vanderbilt Parkway, so she can't see anything. She's like, nobody's watching me, right? And we're like, no. She's basically like mooning whatever traffic was out there, and cars were like slowing down and looking at her. No one's looking at you at all. Come on. And then finally we get her to jump down from the fence. And I had to endure about the most awkward fucking car ride I've ever had in my life. It was about maybe 8 minutes back to my house, not even. Felt like about 3 hours in the car with her dad. You know, he gives me a quick lecture about how stupid and irresponsible I was. And I was expecting to like, don't ever come near my daughter again or I'll kill you. But no, not really. He just drops me off at my house, went back and got the car, and that was it. So, like, a couple days later, incredible, I was allowed to come over her house. And I quickly learned that her parents really don't give a fuck. They basically let her do whatever she wanted, because she was always very headstrong, never really listened to anybody, especially her parents. And they weren't really the type of parents that could control her. Yeah. And not only did her father not care that she was having sex at 15, but he literally bought her condoms. I asked her that. It's the same question you would ask any teenage girl when you're young. Like, what do your parents think about, like, like... And she goes, oh, yeah, my dad doesn't care. He buys me condoms. Like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. But apparently it was. And he actually worked in the house, this guy, in an office down in their basement. And he was home all day long, which also made me nervous. But she goes, yeah, he's so wrapped up in his work, he almost never even comes upstairs, let alone in my room. Yeah, so we'd be in her room just fooling around and like fucking all day long once we finally did it. And yeah, he would never come in, except for this one time where I was about to fuck her and I literally stuck my dick in her and the door opens and he's standing there, and that had to be the most awkward moment in my entire life. I mean, it would be embarrassing enough if your dad walked in on you. But when it's your girlfriend's dad, oh God, I felt like I wanted to die. But he didn't even say anything. He kind of quickly closed the door and that was it. Never heard a word about it. Apparently didn't say anything to her either. Yeah, and we didn't even end up having sex that many times. It was maybe 20, 25 times. And for some reason, after a couple of months, she stopped sleeping with me. To this day, I don't know why. But, yeah, it became kind of, you say it, almost platonic after that. And unfortunately, she was a pretty abusive and controlling person. And not only was she abusive and controlling, she was basically a sociopath with an IQ of about fucking 200. To this day, this remains the smartest girl I've ever been with. By like an order of magnitude. She was a literal genius at 16 years old. She was so fucking smart, it made me feel stupid. I may not be no Einstein, but for you to make me feel like a total idiot, yeah, you gotta be pretty smart. And not only that, but she would constantly rub in my face how much smarter she was than me, and pretty much was like, I'm gonna be the master of the universe. You know, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna dominate the world. Whatever. You're not gonna be shit. She'd put me down all the time, talk down to me, and yeah, she was pretty good at what she did. Uh, if being abusive and manipulative was a sport, she would be an all-star or a league MVP. Yeah, and there wasn't much I could do about it. I just didn't really have the spine to stand up to her at that age. I was kind of a weak little pussy, and I kind of let her walk all over me. Like, you know, I smoked cigarettes for a long time, and she was a non-smoker, and she hated smoking, and she would use that as an excuse to fuck with me, right? Like, there was this one day where every time I would smoke a cigarette, she would make me wash my mouth out. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of a cuck and a simp for this girl. And she wouldn't even let me, like, leave the bathroom or anything. I could have just pushed her out of the way and just left her house and been like, fuck you. But again, I was just too much of a pussy to stand up to her. Yeah, so this went on for months, right? Again, she stopped sleeping with me. We started going out in August, so we stopped fucking in October. And we only went out for 5 months. And I'll never forget the day that we broke up. Well, she broke up with me. It's this night, cold winter night in January '05, where I'm online on AIM, and I see her away message right now. Of course, she put up this away message on purpose, just to fuck with me. And she goes, "Don't message me right now, I'm busy. Only VIPs can message me." And then in parentheses, she wrote, "People who've had their cock in my cunt for the last 3 months." In the last 3 months. What a fucking bitch. Seriously? And she ends up dumping me. And the weird thing is, I guess this illustrates how much of a sociopath and a weirdo she was. You would think she'd want nothing to do with me, right? If she's the one dumping me. No. She continues to pursue me, at least a little bit. Like, I'd see her at Legally still. We both still went there every week. She continued to try to talk to me or fuck with me, whatever. Like, what does she want? Like, leave me the fuck alone. I didn't really want anything to do with her anymore. I had enough. And this one night, they had like computers, internet, you know, TVs. You want to watch TV at Legally. They had a whole little entertainment center. And she wanted to watch TV. And so did I at the same time. But I grabbed the remote before she could get her hands on it. And she's like, give me the remote. No, we're not going out anymore. You're not fucking controlling me anymore. No, I'm not giving you what you want. Go away. I got it first. Give me the remote. This is someone that cannot be told no. She's so used to having her way. Her parents just spoil the living fuck out of her. Like I said, she was allowed to do whatever she wanted her whole life. Very few boundaries, if any at all. She cannot stand being told no. Why? She's like, give me the fucking remote now. And I'm like walking backwards, like waving it in the air, like, why don't you come get it? And then I didn't see where I was going. And she ends up pushing me. I mean, like a full shove in the chest. And I end up running into a chair that was behind me and like practically flipping over this chair. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, whatever. And I like threw the remote at her and walked away. Like, you want it that bad? Take it, psycho. And she ended up getting in trouble for that. I don't think she could come to legally for like, she got like suspended for like a week or whatever. And she blamed me for snitching on her. She's like, why'd you tell on me? Like, I didn't. Yes, you did. I got in trouble. Okay, there was like 20 witnesses to that shit. Maybe someone else did. You ever think of that? Whatever. And then we only ended up... Oh, let me see. Yeah, so we ended up actually hooking up again, right? She asked me if I could give her a ride home. This is like a couple of months later. Like, we didn't speak for a couple more months. And I'm like, oh, whatever. You know, I haven't had anything in a while. I hadn't hooked up with a girl since me and her last fucked. So I'm like, okay. She basically told me we were going to hook up. So we parked my car in front of her house, and we start fooling around. And I end up fingering her, right? Which I'm pretty good at. And she actually told me I was a 2 out of 10. Like my fucking ability. She's like, yeah, I think you're maybe like a 2. Hey, she was honest and straightforward. I'll give her that. She never lied to me. And I fingered the shit out of her and basically gave her an orgasm. And she's like, remember when I said you're like a 2? Make that a 4. Fuck you, fucking bitch. Oh, God. So, yeah, it's like spring 2005. So I didn't see her again until the next June, because she's in my brother's graduating class, 2006. They both went to Hills West. So if I was going to go see my brother graduate, I was going to run into her, most likely. And she had lost so much weight, I didn't even recognize her. I almost walked right past her. Right here, hey, David Levy. I'm like, what? Huh? Who's that? Ava? She went from 250 pounds down to about 130. She looked fucking gorgeous. Like I said, she was attractive. But when she was skinnier, ooh, she was banging. It's like, why do they always get more attractive after they break up with me, right? Why? And then I didn't see her again until 2013 now, right? Summer 2013. She just hits me up completely out of the blue. Asks me if I want to chill. And I'm like, with you? I don't know about this. But she told me basically she smoked weed. Because she wasn't in a weed when we were together either. She was a straight edge. She didn't even drink. And she's like, yeah, I smoke weed. I have this friend named Pinky. She lives in Bayshore. And, you want to come over to Pinky's house? We can hang out. Like, I'm different now. I'm not the same person anymore. I'm like, all right, whatever. Get some free weed. See this new Ava for myself. Allegedly. So I go over to this girl Pinky's house. And holy shit, she was a totally different person. I don't know what it was, but this abusive, manipulative, like controlling little cunt that I used to date was like gone. Like, she was actually a cool person who I like spending time around. Why the fuck couldn't you have been like this when we were dating? Why now? But yeah, we hung out a whole bunch of times. We were almost like friends again. And then I don't see her again, right? I saw her like a bunch of times that summer. And then she disappears. So now it's March 2014. And again, she just hits me up out of left field. This time it was on Facebook. And she's like, "Hey, what's up? It's Ava." I'm like, yeah, what's up? She goes, "Yeah, I'm up in Stony." She says, "Yeah, I'm up in Stony Brook right now." I'm like, "Stony Brook?" "Yeah, you know the psych ward?" I don't know how she was able to use Facebook in a psych ward, but yes, she is messaging me from a fucking psych ward. Because, yeah, I got a little deal for you. And this is somebody that would keep a promise. If she told you she was going to do this, or this, she would do it. I give her credit for that, too. She goes, "Yeah, if you, pick me up and sign me out of this place, I'll fuck you." And I was in the middle of another drought. Unfortunately, I've had a few of those in my life. And I'm like, whatever, okay. I'll get laid. It seems like a fair trade. She gets her freedom. I get some pussy. Whatever. So, I drive out to Stony Brook. And I didn't realize how crazy this girl had gotten. She always had a little bit of mental illness. She was always a little unstable. She'd gotten significantly crazier over the last 9 years since we broke up. And I walk into the psych ward, and she's got fucking magic marker drawn all over her face. She's like, "Hey, look at me! Look at all my art! How do you like my face?" And I go, "Ava, you better wash that shit off right now. I got the power of the pen, okay? I'm in charge. I don't sign that paper. You're staying here. Your ass is staying in that psych ward. Wash your face. I am not going in public with you like that." "But I don't want..." "Ava, you're not in control for once. I am. Wash your face." So I forced her to wash her face. And I go and sign her out of this place. And, for a while it's fine, right? In fact, for basically the entire night. I picked her up. We went back to my place in Dix Hills. We fucked a few times. It was not that great. Yeah, not one of the greatest fucks I ever had. I don't know how many guys she fucked over the years, or how many things she put in her pussy, but she was so loose, I couldn't even feel it. I couldn't even come. This is how loose she was. Because the whole reason that males have sexual pleasure when they fuck a female is how tight the vagina is. Your fucking dick goes in there. It rubs back and forth. You get that friction, especially from the vaginal contractions. And that's how we get our pleasure. But this thing was 3 feet wide. And she keeps asking me, right? "So, did you come yet?" "No." "Did you come yet?" "No." It's just, it didn't work. For the only time in my life, I never actually came at a girl when I fucked her. Yeah. But otherwise, everything was good. We smoked some weed. We chilled out, whatever. And lucky I got some when I did, because I quickly found out why she was in a psych ward. Because the next morning, she just completely lost it. I mean, she went psychotic break with a capital P. I'd never seen anybody go crazy like that before. And I was never really exposed to mental illness. My mom had a little depression, but nothing that serious. And I was never really around a lot of mentally ill people. I'd never been in a psych ward, nothing like that. So this is my first experience with it, up close and personal. Holy shit. I remember at this one point, we're back at my apartment, and she climbs on top of me, right? I let her do all this, and starts screaming and spitting in my face and cursing at me and pounding on my chest. And meanwhile, I said she was manipulative and controlling. One of the reasons why I picked her up is I wanted to get her back. Just being able to show her she couldn't control me anymore and I was stronger than her would have been revenge in and of itself. I didn't even have to do anything more than that. But, and I constantly did that the whole time we were together. She kept trying to play the same old games and like manipulate me and walk on me like she did in 2004. Wasn't working. I was just too big, too strong, too smart. I grew up a lot, and she really didn't grow at all. In fact, much to her chagrin, not only could she not manipulate me, she wasn't even really smarter than me anymore. She literally stopped using her brain at like, I don't know, age 18 or 19 or something. And in her late 20s, she's still not using it, or mid 20s. Yeah, it's like a muscle, the brain. You stop using it, it'll go to shit. And I'm like, wow, this is too good. Oh, this is awesome. It felt so good to get her back. And yeah, so she's sitting on my chest and she's screaming and spitting at me. And I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, come on, baby. Yeah, get mad. Come on, hit me. Come on, you want to spit at me again? Come on, hit me, bitch. Hit me. And the more I do that, the fucking angrier she would get. And it just wasn't working no matter what. And then finally, I have enough. I bring her back to her house. And her father was so pissed. I don't think her parents, either of them, ever liked me before that. But I also quickly found out how hard it is to commit an adult to a psych ward in the United States. There might be countries where involuntary commitment is a lot easier. In the U.S., an adult that doesn't want to go to a mental hospital, it is like impossible to get them in there. It takes a lot of legal wrangling, and like it could take months or years to get that commitment, civil commitment. And they finally got it, her parents. And with one stroke of a pen, I ruined it all. And I actually escorted her in the house to say goodbye and say hello to her dad like he wanted to fucking see me, right? I'm like, oh, hey, Richard, how's it going? Long time no see. Remember me? And he barely said a word to me. He basically just glared at me with this angry death stare like, you have some balls, kid. You fucking signed my psycho daughter out of the psych ward after we tried for like 10 years to get her in there. And now you have the nerve to walk in my house and say hello to me like we're cool? Fuck you, asshole. And I quickly got the message I wasn't welcome and left. And like, this is how crazy Ava is. She's still trying to manipulate me. Still. Right? She's like calling me on the phone or messaging me online saying she wants weed. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever. This girl is fucked. You know, I'll give her a little weed. I got plenty. So I drive to her house and I ain't knocking on her door. I don't want to see her again. Yeah, hell no. So I take the bag of weed and put it in her mailbox. And then I tell her about it when I'm gone. And she's like, what? You put it in my mailbox? No, you need to give it to me. Ava, go out to your mailbox and get the fucking bag. I'm not coming back to put it in your hand. You need to give me that fucking weed now. I'm like, no, Ava. You either walk out to your mailbox or you can be a lazy piece of shit and not smoke. That choice is yours. And she tried for another minute, and then when it was apparent it just wasn't working, for the millionth time, she could not manipulate me anymore. She gives up on that, and then we proceed to have this long conversation where she's trying to like insult me and get under my skin, trying one last time. Not working. Again. And then finally, I got her to block me, right? This is the type of person that will not block you on social media no matter what. Some people just won't do it, even if they hate your guts. When you can get Ava to block you, you have really, truly won. So, yeah. Yeah, I was 2014. 2020, I have not heard from her, seen her since. Thank fucking God. And I have no plans on ever seeing her again. If she ever hit me up again, I'm pretty sure I would ignore her or block her. Because I had my fun. I got revenge on her. I showed her in every way possible how much I changed, how much better I was than her, like I said. And seeing her, talking to her again would be pointless. She'll probably be in and out of psych wards for the rest of her life. This is someone who has, no degree, no skills, no nothing. She'll probably live with her parents until her parents die when she's not in a psych ward. After that, she'll probably go live in a group home or some shit. And honestly, the way that she's treated me serves her ass right. It's only fitting in the end. But, yeah. That was my little story. Yeah, little 31-minute story about this girl I used to be with, Ava Miller. A record long. Beat my previous record for longest story by 5 minutes. And if you're still awake by now and you've listened to this entire thing, I hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, what a girl. What a fucking girl.